Okay, guys. I guess this thing had to turn my music off. I don't know. I hate when it's recorded turns my music, guys, off. Anyway, what's up, guys? This is your girl, Madam X. This is Frequency Roll Radio. You already know. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds raspy. I'm just waking up, and I'm tired. I'm so tired. Anywho, I just want to do a preview, like a pre-talk about this lunar eclipse, like the longest one in a century or something like that. It's going to be a long one. It's going to last like an hour and something. And this is the pre-talk. I've been studying all the eclipses. As you know, we're in eclipse season. The first one started off in Cancer, on that Cancer and Capricorn axis. I got a funny story to tell you about that. And then this one's going to be Leo and Aquarius. And then there's going to be another solar eclipse. So it's going to be in Leo, again, on the 11th. And the lunar is coming up on the 27th. And the partial solar we just had was on the 13th. So this is just like a little preview. I've been talking, it's funny, I have a lot of friends. If you guys have listened to my astrology channel before, you know I rock with Leos pretty heavily. I say don't believe, people who talk about basic compatibility astrology, don't believe that. It definitely isn't always true, and it's definitely not always true when it comes to friendships and things like that. Sometimes you have to look at a person's whole chart, but like that basic compatibility, water, earth, fire, air, isn't always the case. And Cancer and Leo, in my experiences, have gotten together pretty darn good. I'm going to have to pause this in a second, and I hope it doesn't delete my whole recording. I did a reading for myself, which I don't do often. It was a eclipse reading for Friday the 13th. I did it a few days before, and I did the whole reading, and I stopped this because I had to pause or whatever, and it deleted the whole reading, which sucks. Anyway, so I'm just going to do like a mini preview. Cancer and Leo, in my experience, get along pretty good. All of my closest and tightest friends all of my life have been Leo. Now, with that said, I do have a Leo North Node, if that plays into it any more that I can relate to Leos, but I really don't think it's that. As a Cancer, I like to play the background. Cancers don't always like to be front and center. We get our attention in more subtle, manipulative ways. I'm joking saying manipulative, just showing how Cancer likes to like play low and play the background, but Leo likes to play the front. So that was something that always really worked well with my relationship with the Leos that I know, because I like the fact that they're not afraid to get out there and like be front and center, and I can kind of control things from the back. Wait a minute, pause. So I'm sitting at Wendy's. I come here, they got me addicted to these fruit teas that they got. But let me tell you what the jump off is. The jump off is they have a berry tea, right? I haven't been to Wendy's in years. So I came to Wendy's one day because I hadn't had some cheese fries in a long time. And back in high school, cheese fries used to be the jump off from Wendy's. But again, like I told you, I haven't come to Wendy's in years. So, and it's a Wendy's around my way. I ain't been in years. So I came for cheese fries one day, and I saw they had these fruit teas, and they look really good, like limeade fruit teas and all this shit. So I get here, and I wanted this berry tea that I saw the picture of on a board. And the lady was like, well, we don't have no green tea, because I guess they take some fruit stuff and mix it with green tea. I think they sell some, like it's supposed to be natural green tea. I saw here at Wendy's, but like I said, I haven't been in it so long. I mean, it's been years, 5 or more years, so I wouldn't know. So I guess they mixed it with that green tea, with this fruit stuff. But they didn't have the green tea that night. And she was like, well, we don't have the green tea. She was like, but I can mix it with lemonade for you, with the lemonade, if you want to try that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead, do that. So she did that. I got that drink. Y'all, that drink was so fucking good. And they give it to you. It's expensive. Wendy's done turned into Chick-fil-A prices. I think Wendy's is Wendy's gourmet, y'all? Like I said, I haven't eaten in Wendy's in a long time. Has it turned gourmet? Because they got like Popeye's prices, and it's even higher, because I swear these cheese fries don't even taste as good as they did to me back in the day. And the cheese fries are like $3.50. And that night I came, I had got the tea and a cheese fry. And he told me my total was like $7. And I was like, for what? I said, them cheese fries not $1.99, that juice not like $1.99. He was like, no, man, it's this price, or this price. I was like, well, shit, back in the day, them cheese fries used to be $1.99 where they give you the box of fries and the little cup of cheese to dip it in. He saw that laughing, cute little thing. He was like, back in the day. I was like, yeah, nigga, I'm older than I look. But anyway, y'all, let's get back to this astrology thing. So I just want to tell y'all, if y'all haven't tried that, y'all got to try that berry fruit tea, but tell them don't put green tea in and mix it with lemonade. That shit is so good. I'm sorry if y'all can hear all my background noise. I haven't had no time, but I'm trying to do this video while I'm dipping and dodging in these streets. So, from my experience, Leos and Cancers do really, really well together. It's the sun and the moon. How can you not? And the only issue I've ever really had with Leos is when because of course, like I just said, Leos have to be this in a potential, which is fine to me. But the only times where that's not fine with me is like if you have an issue going on, but Leos have issues going on in their life, and they can't be the proper friends that they need to be to you because of what's ever going on with the Leo. Because in the Leo's life, their issues, dramas, problems usually take precedence. Now, that's not to say, and on the Leo side, I would probably say they find most of their issues with Cancer maybe when they try to be there for Cancer, but Cancer doesn't let a Leo protect them and be there for them and all of that stuff like a Leo. Oh, that is a very nice, y'all. Somebody has an Explorer. Oh, shit, it's a Lexus. And when I say the Lexus, I got to put y'all on hold to take a picture of this Lexus. It's the most beautiful color I've ever seen. Hold. My flash was on when I took the damn picture. I hope nobody's sitting in the car, but it's like this puke yellow color. I'm really not describing it well. It's almost like a yellow neonish gold Lexus truck right here, y'all. It's so banging. But anyway, Leos may get disappointed in Cancer. Excuse me. When they can't protect Cancer. And Cancer won't let them be there for them. And Leo is an intuitive sign as well. Don't believe that they're not. So a Leo may be able to see, just with their logical common sense and their fire nature to move on things fast and quickly. They can have that kind of knowing, sort of like you'll see in Aries sometimes, where they might feel like they know what's best for a friend, or they might see what's best for you, or what's more positive for you. And if you don't let Leo kind of be there for you, Leo can get frustrated in those times and they can take it personally. And I'm just thinking back to my own situations I've had with Leos, and we never really have any problems except when it comes to like those little things. So, and Leos ride or die for their men and their boyfriends, and the other way around for their girlfriends and stuff. So like, if they caught up maybe in a negative relationship or something like that, it can get a little tricky with Leos. But it's usually never anything more than that, that I've seen between Cancers and Leos. So I want to talk about the eclipse, because this lunar eclipse on the 27th, it is going to be 4 degrees Aquarius, I believe, which is going to be on the axis of Aquarius and Leo. So whatever happens to one side, it always affects the opposite sign, as you guys know. And I strongly, truly believe in that. I believe opposites are very strong. And it whatever happens in one house is going to reflect back to the other house and to the opposite house. And I just want to do a preview of Aquarius and Leo. And now, let me tell you, I have not done any heavy study on the lunar eclipse. I haven't done all my studies yet, as far as looking at the astrological chart. But I'm just going to give you some intuitive insight into what I feel like this eclipse is going to bring up. And in this particular pre-video, I'm going to make this pretty short. We'll focus on Leo and Aquarius, because they're the star players in this that's happening. But I'll come back maybe tonight. If not tonight, see, I don't even like saying when I'm going to do things, because I'm pretty spontaneous. I'm going to do it whenever. I probably didn't say that I'm going to do it, so I don't want to say it. But I'll come back with like a one card, a lunar eclipse reading for each sign, and then we'll talk about each sign. I'll give you some intuitive insight into what's going to happen. But I was prompted to do this Leo and Aquarius video because I already had been talking to some Leos, kind of letting them know what's happened, what's going on. One of my Leo homeboys that I hang out with, he wanted to get a drink, and he was like, oh, let's do it on the 27th. I was like, nah, that's the lunar eclipse. I'm probably going to be just laying low, full moon shit. I mean, you know how that can be. So those are times I just rather be home doing my rituals, doing my own things. But I said, oh, shit, well, since, you know, we talking, you Leo, you know, this is all about you. And I was just telling him, you know, you may hear from, I mean, literally, this is how the conversation went. Because he was like, oh, cool. He was like, all right, well, we can do it another night, but tell me some stuff I need to know. And I was like, cool. I was like, well, send me your birth date, time, all that. I said, but if you don't want to do that, because he's not really into astrology like that. I'm like, if you don't want to do that, I can just tell you some general shit I feel for Leos. Now, mind you, like I said, I haven't really done no research on this astrological research as far as where the planet's going to be, what aspects are going to be hitting and stuff like that. I haven't done any of that because I'm still situated in the partial solar eclipse from the 13th. I'm not out of that energy yet. And I don't want to pull in the lunar eclipse, the full moon, too much until I process most of my energy number. Even though they all tie in, it's going to be a flow. It's going to be an energy over the next couple of years to 2020. I still want to get past this partial solar eclipse energy that I'm in at this current moment. So I told him, I said, well, you know, generally, if you don't want to send me all that, I said, or even if you send me all that, I can just tell you generally that you're probably going to hear from somebody from your past, and it's going to seem like it's out of the blue. It could be friends, it could be family, but it's probably going to be some stuff that has to do with the past, and this could be good or bad. I'm feeling for a lot of Leos, if this happens, then it probably was something that there was some issues there. The issues could go from surface issues to deep issues. It could go from not too big of issues to like real issues. So the level of the issues, you know, I can't say that's going to be, you know, on an individual basis for you guys out there. But I just really felt like, Leo, especially because it's tied into that Cancer eclipse that just happened on Friday, which deals with home, family, emotions, and it was, you know, the Cancer axis, Capricorn is on the other side. So money, finances, working hard, studious, kind of climbing the ladder. So I really feel like for Leos, it's going to have to do with either friend or family situations, things from the past, people coming back from the past, maybe working out some things that had to do with emotions, and that might be a little emotional for you, and friendships and family relationships that sort of meant anything to you. And then if it's on the job, maybe some power struggles, maybe dealing with some people in positions of power, something like that. But I can get more into that when I look more into some of the planets and some other things that's going to be involved with this eclipse. But just, you know, generally that excess of Leo and Aquarius is about power, royalty, control, pride, center stage, doing things out of the box, doing things a different way, new insights and thoughts into the way of doing things, the collective, bringing things back to the collective, not being so individualistic. So that's why you may be having thoughts of family situationships or things that are going on or playing out in that realm. So with Aquarius, you may be reaching out, or people may be reaching out to you. I think not Aquarius, for Leo, I think it's going to be more like people may be reaching out to you, and you guys may be dealing with some things that have to do with your pride, even saying I'm sorry, getting I'm sorry for people, working out issues. I feel like with Aquarius, it may be so more you reaching out. Maybe you going to others. Maybe you kind of discovering with the moon in your sign. Maybe you really looking at some of the shadow sides, or maybe you wanting to remove some of that shadow side and clear up some issues with your family and your friends. Maybe some things that you have felt for a while. So I feel like that's what it's going to be more so on the Aquarius end of doing things, maybe putting behind how you used to do things and maybe doing things a little different. And I still think it's going to relate into that theme of visiting things that have to do with the past. So for Aquarius, I don't think it's going to be new situationships. I think it's going to be things that already exist and are going on in your life. But for Aquarius, I think it's going to be more you may be making more of the moves or finding different ways to kind of deal with and handle situations, and going back and revisiting some of those things from the past or things like that. And like I said, it ties into the eclipse that just happened in Cancer. So keep in mind, coming from a place of dredging up from the past, as we move past the solar eclipse and go to the lunar, like I said, family, home, people from your past, maybe people from your past coming to your home, your money, your work, your power place. I think for Aquarius, we're going to have to do a lot with your power and how you take your power and how you stand in your power. Because, again, that's reflecting back to Leo. And I'm bringing that out of moving on from Capricorn, which is all about hard work, diligence, power, and things of that nature. You know, because that's what Capricorn represents, success. Keeping up with the Joneses even. Maybe Aquarius, maybe you guys will stop wanting to keep up with the Joneses. Maybe something like that will really come over you in this eclipse season. And before I get out of here, like I said, this is a preview. We'll get into some of the other signs, all the other signs, and we'll do some mini tarot readings. It's probably not going to be tonight, guys. Maybe tonight. I don't know. Check back on my channel in the next few days. But I can just tell you something funny that came out of the solar eclipse for me. And that was... Okay, so you know that partial solar eclipse happened in Cancer. So that's on the Cancer-Capricorn axis. In my personal chart, Cancer is my first house. So I've got Cancer in the first house. And so if you guys say I sound a little full of myself, that may be why. Got the sun got that Leo in my first house. So my Cancer is my first house with the sun. The sun is in my first house, which means Capricorn is on my 7th house axis. So I knew I had been seeing that a lot of Cancers, I've seen things were coming to light. Things were being exposed. Even though eclipses eclipse out old things, bringing new, I always feel like eclipses expose as well. I think eclipses is an exposing energy, whether it's the sun or the moon. I feel like there's exposure that comes along with eclipses because it blocks light, so something can't shine, and then something comes out of that. So it's almost like, to me, a focus getting put on hidden areas that you need to pay attention to, or things cropping up that you need to pay attention to. So I saw a lot of Cancers getting exposed or just kind of put on Front Street. Like different Cancers, like you guys may know the whole thing that's going on with Charlemagne the God and that rape accusation from years ago. I say 50 Cent was beefing with Wendy Williams. This didn't happen on this particular solar eclipse Friday, but you guys may remember Jim Jones just got locked up not too long ago. He's a Cancer. There were some other things that were happening for Cancers. Those aren't the only ones. And I can't forget, because this stuff was like going on last week, but it was happening right around that eclipse time. And I could just see a theme of certain Cancers as things coming to light, Cancers getting exposed, whether good or whether bad. So I work from home mostly every day. And when I feel like I go, and when I just want to get out the house, I may go into my office. And I hadn't been in the office in a long time. And I think Thursday I said, okay, I'm going to go into the office. Now, mind you, I had a pretty calm partial solar eclipse. When you try to live your life righteously, so not too much bad karma comes back to you, you know, that's what happens. You know, you can kind of cross your fingers and say, okay, I know something's going to happen, but maybe it just won't be that heavy. So I said, well, nothing's really popped off for this partial eclipse. I see how it's affecting some other people. I bet you when I go in the office today, the bullshit is going to start. Something's going to start. I didn't have nothing going on, no beef with people. I keep to myself. I said the bullshit is going to start. I'm going to speed this story up because I got something to do. I'm trying to close out this video in the next 2 minutes. So I get into the office. I tell you guys, no less than 10 minutes. As soon as I walked in the office on Thursday, looking good, looking good. No less than 10 minutes, within 10 minutes of me being there. And if for facts, it was within 10 minutes of me being there because I had something that I needed to give to another manager in the building. And I walked there. As soon as I got there and docked my laptop, I took it out of my bag and I walked it to her office. So that's how I know. Not only was it within the first 10 minutes of me being there, it was probably within the first 5 minutes of me being there. So I walked to her office, and as I was coming back, I spoke to another supervisor. He actually happens to be a homosexual Capricorn, which I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you for facts, so you can understand the vibe and the feeling and the emotion. And he's one of those like righteous ones, and he's Caucasian. So Caucasians, I'm sorry, I have no problem with white people with Caucasians. There's some good ones out here, but a lot of times what you can do, especially when it comes to colored people and black folks, is you play the victim. A lot of times I notice Caucasians will start something, but if you, as a black person, if you go off on them or you get out of character, you don't handle it the right way, they will play the victim any opportunity that you give them. So he's got these like idealistic like views, you know, because he's not like a bottom sort of homo. He's like a top with the attitude of a bottom. You know what I mean? So he's still a man, but he's real bitch-like. So, you know, that's the thing. But, you know, none of that ever bothered me. I barely talk to him. We have a little banter back and forth, but I notice, as a Capricorn he is, sometimes he doesn't know what to say out of his mouth. And sometimes his mouth can precede him, and he can say some sort of rude things. And I kind of let it roll off of my back because, number one, I don't hang around him. I really don't have to deal with him. And he's okay from afar. He's cool from afar. If we go out, we get drinks as a work group or managers or something, he's cool from that perspective. But, you know, nothing personally, and I always handle those kind of people with a very long-handled spoon. And it's just things we've kind of sort of discussed before where I know our views don't match up, and he's a person who takes things really personally, so he's not a person I would get into political, religious conversations with. But just like anybody who says, well, bless you, have a great day, God bless you, you know, I let people know I'm into astrology. I don't push it on anybody. I'm a Cancer, so I don't push shit on anybody. I'll tell you how things are, and it's up to you to decide. So that's just in my general nature that I don't push anything on anybody, and astrology would be no different. But I feel no shame in astrology. There's no shame to where I have to keep it secret, and if people don't like it, then fuck them. You know what I mean? I listen to God bless you all day. I listen to religious things all day, and it doesn't offend me. And I'm not I'm spiritual. I don't subscribe to any religion, but if somebody tells me God bless me or they want to have a Christian conversation, I can have an unbiased conversation without having a hate for their religion or anything, because that's just called perspective. And if you're spiritual, you can transcend religion. So I can still identify with Christians and Muslims and things like that and see the points in the religion and the good parts of it. I don't have a hate for it just because I'm not that. But that goes to show you how people who think their mind is so open, you know, they might think they're so left on a political scale, but they're really right. You may think they're so right, but they're really left. The shit is all one and the same, Democrats, Republicans. But anyway, getting back to the point at hand, so he's one of those kind of people. He may think he's so liberal, but you're really everything that you say you're against. That's what you are. Because now I know he's a Capricorn. I've asked him his sign. You know, we talked about it briefly. But most people especially people in your 9-to-5 matrix world, aren't into astrology. They don't believe in it. And some people really try to say, oh, that's bullshit. You know, the people who read horoscopes and don't know that it goes any deeper than that. Oh, that's bullshit. And I just let them have it. Okay. And that just shows me you're in a state of ignorance, because you really don't have any idea the study of astrology or even astronomy or astrophysics, anything. You're just saying that based off of horoscopes being bullshit. Okay, I get it. Like, if you were to talk about scratching the surface, that's not even scratching the surface talking about horoscopes. You haven't even begun to understand astrology if your understanding is based in horoscopes. So I had been talking, it's a Gemini that I talk to all the time. And her and I will talk about astrology, and she was saying, oh, you're a Cancer. We were talking about football. And she was saying, oh, boo, Ravens, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, who's your team? She's like, Patriots. And she's like, yeah. I said, well, I'm not mad at you for that. I can't say no. She was like, oh, because I ride with Tom Brady. And I said to her, okay, well, I can't be mad at you for that. Tom Brady's, you can't say shit bad about Tom Brady. Leo, by the way. I said, and he's married to a fabulous Cancer, Giselle. So I really can't say shit about Tom Brady. She's like, oh, yeah, you're a Cancer. Wasn't your birthday, blah, blah, blah. And so we were talking. So I think he is her supervisor or her manager. And his door was open, and we weren't too far from his door. So when I walked back past his office, he just had like this horribly mean. If you guys ever dealt with a nasty Capricorn, you know how they can be. I mean, just evil. The devil card is Capricorn for a reason. I mean, it is like scathing evil that's on Capricorn's faces sometimes. And I'm like, okay. I hardly ever talked to him. I haven't been in this building in weeks. I didn't do anything to him. Why is his face like that? So I'm saying, like, hello. He's ignoring me. I was like, oh, you're pretending to work today? You know, he's joked with me like that many times before. He's ignoring me. And I'm saying, oh, are you being an evil Capricorn today? He's ignoring me. And I was like, oh, all jokes aside, are you okay? Because at this point I'm thinking I could tell something's going wrong in his life. And I don't have a problem with him. So I'm like, are you okay? And he didn't say anything. So I started to walk away, and then he kind of laughs like, oh, no, I'm just playing. He was like, but that astrology stuff has got to stop. It's bullshit. It's crap. You're just never going to win with me with that astrology. I mean, literally, that's how he started. I'm 10 minutes into work, and I did not expect this. So talk about being put on blast, having light shown on you. People on the floor can kind of hear this. He's a manager being very inappropriate. But you guys know, this solar eclipse was so good to me. Thank you, solar eclipse in Cancer, because I played his ass so well. I totally did not give him what he's looking for. And I know that personally. I had many Capricorns in my life. I love Capricorns, good or bad. I love Capricorns, I just have to say. And a lot of times, I don't catch that brunt of their evilness because the Capricorns that I know happen to be my family, not friendship relationships. So it's a deeper bond than just being a friend. And I know how they can be, but that side doesn't usually get shown to me. But he didn't take me really off guard because I know, you see, this is when you know astrology and you know the energies you're dealing with, you already know how to handle people. So as soon as he came at me, I knew not to give it back. I knew not to give him what he was looking for because he obviously had an issue in his personal life that had nothing to do with me. And he was taking it out on me, and he obviously never has liked when I talked about astrology in the past, which, mind you, I hardly ever talked to this boy. So our conversations about this man, but he was acting like a boy, our conversations about astrology have been like once or twice. And I've been at this particular job for over a year. I hardly ever talked to him, period. Like I told you guys, I'm hardly ever in the building. So you could just tell I knew, being the intuit that I am, I mean, even though it's obvious to me, you don't have to be an intuit. He had a problem, and the problem wasn't me. So I was not going to give him what he was asking for. I did not get irate or nasty. And then I know, like I said, sometimes you Caucasians, you can play the victim, especially if you do something and a black person go off on you, then I'm in HR because now I done really gave him what he asked for, and he couldn't handle it. And now I'm the aggressor. I'm the angry person. So I knew I wasn't going to do that. So I just gave him back to him really good. And I was like, oh, wow, are you okay today? I was like, wow, something's really wrong. I said, you got something going on at home? You know, I'm sorry about that. But, you know, astrology is very real. But I can understand you don't believe in it. That's fine. And then he said, he's like, no, it's bullshit. And I was like, well, I understand you're saying that out of your ignorance. So there's nothing else I can say. I said, I understand you're saying that out of your ignorance, so we could just leave it alone. And I walked on off, and I walked back to my office, which is next to his. Mind you, he everybody talks about how he comes in the office and he locks his door. He's like the only manager who is in the office who actually locks his office door while he's there. Nobody else does that. Anyway, that's just a little side note. So, and many people have gotten into arguments with him in particular that have come back and told me because of his nasty attitude. And I've always noticed his nasty attitude. That's why I said he's never done anything to me, but I've always handled him at arm's length because I see how he can be. So, you know, he got real nasty. So I walked off and went back to my office, and then he sends me, I am profusely apologizing because I gave his ass what he wasn't looking for. And he was like, you know, I apologize. I just have not had a good week. He was like, but my atheist side, that astrology just kills me because I'm an atheist and I will never believe in that and blah, blah, blah. And I kindly told him, and this is why I'm going to end the story because I've been sitting in this car for like 20 minutes. I got to get out and go in here and handle my business. I kindly told and replied to this text because somebody's upset with me. And kindly told him, I said, I simply stopped by your office to say good morning. Your atheist views mean nothing to me because I can respect other people. It does not bother me that you're an atheist. I'm actually willing to hear what you have to say because I respect people and their opinions. And I said the fact that I believe in astrology should not bother you if you respect people and their opinions. Your atheism does not threaten me because I believe in what I believe in. And what you believe has no bearing on that. I respect all people and all opinions. I simply stop by to say good morning, and I see something more personal is going on with you. And, but we can forget about it. It's fine. He came back again apologizing more. Oh, yeah, but I just didn't think it was fair. You called me ignorant, all that. I said ignorance is simply not knowing. That's the definition of ignorance. And that is exactly what you are. So it wasn't derogatory. It was perfectly fitting for the situation. And he just kept apologizing. And I told him, it's over. I had no problem with you. I had no problem with you before I spoke. You have a bigger issue. You probably never liked my mere mentions of astrology. He's one of those people that their views are the right views. And you being a gay atheist, I would think you of all people should understand astrology or have a credence for astrology and understand how limited, narrow-minded, and you're being with your views. It's almost like racism. Like, if nobody agrees with you, they're wrong, and you want to burn their head at the stake. What the fuck is wrong with people? I never insulted his beliefs, and I still didn't insult his atheism. But you see how backwards that is, that an atheist wants to go off on somebody who believes in astrology. If you really think of what atheist being an atheist is, you would think they would probably would lean towards or actually be bright enough or smart enough to give some credence to astrology and therefore astronomy and therefore astrology and therefore astronomy really, because astrology comes first. But they would give some credence to astronomy, therefore astrology. You guys feel that? You get where I'm coming from? But anyway, that's my mini lunar eclipse vibe, little intuitive vibe, and my little funny story for the partial solar eclipse that we just went through. All right, party peoples, I wish you the best no matter which eclipse situation is happening to you, and I hope that the best comes out of it. The eclipse always puts you where you need to be. So if it's tumultuous going through it, you're gonna be in a better place coming out of it. Love you guys. Deuces. Peace. I'm out.